more than enough crowd control for hard damage. But now, it is going to be a focus onto how well are BMO and Eson going to be rotating, getting into position to give the information for their junglers to make the plays. It's gonna be a fight focused on the tanks.
As we enter game number 1 in this best of 3 series between LPE and BLI. Battle of the Tanks is what Reptar said, and we'll be looking forward to see how Eson and BMO will be playing it out. Meanwhile, it is a full team at presence here over in the mid lane, a bit of a scuffle there. It is a little bit of an advantage here on the side of Blacklist International because of the fact that they have Popol and Koopa there. Koopa will act as a pseudo tank for now.
Yeah, but then at the same time, Blacklist has to be careful. LPE has to respect the fact that the traps and the bombs of Diggy, who just was taken out by a Pinkin with a jungle creep there, it will hurt in the early game. Hence this aggression coming out from Eson, and with how he's playing, it looks like it's in the first day that they played here in the MPL was that despite the distance, they weren't completely bothered by that. But then it's a different story because now it's 4 of their players isolated. So I mean, if they can still shine from that, then they should be good. If they continue to find ways to make themselves work in this meta, then it should be good for LPE.
Alright, now, I gotta say this though real quick. Aspect is giving away, is getting a lot of kills, but at the same time, LPE is just forcing, it's just being forced to just pour everything down onto Eson there.
Beating Diggy. I didn't think that, I mean, a part of me was hoping that that's not what we're gonna see, but hey, if it's gonna work, then it's gonna work, maybe, for Eson, because LPE, with the lineup that they have here, the Granger, the Esmeralda, the Harith, you want to keep doing this so that they get less sources of gold, because if they get to farm up fast, it's gonna be bad for Blacklist.
And Turtle will be started off by Wiser, and Eson is just buying a lot of time here. Almost taking down Aspect in the process. Snow by Venus already in position, hunting down Aspect himself, but will be deciding to back off.
Yeah, and Eson's back, and Aspect will go down if he's not careful.
Yep, this is a... Yeah, Eson's gonna go back. Aspect almost down. Oheb gonna be flickering on over to secure the first kill, as well as the turtle being secured by Blacklist International.
Now, an interesting thing Wolf told me is that Marky, player from Onyx, mentioned to him that, you know, with the amateur players who came up, you know, with the grit and the grind, they usually focus on one hero or just 2, and then that's how they'll make it into the pros, by playing those really well. Alice is that hero that Oheb started off with being known for. The second one that he brought in was that Harith.
As Oheb is currently in a situation there against Jake the Dog over at the Turtle Pit area. Edward almost low on HP as well, but manages to survive.
Great escape there by Edward, and Eson is just gonna keep doing this right now. Again, if this is new to you, then welcome to a strategy that we were surprised by Aura bringing out in Season 6 Week 2.
The opening matchup for Season 6. For their matchup, I mean.
Yeah.
And now, it begs to ask, how is LP going to fight against Blacklist International?
Scrappy, just like this.
Just like this, indeed. They managed to take down 2, and now Blacklist International is coming out on top. BMO will be slowly falling down. He's going to be forced to back off. Jake the Dog in the backlines, as well as Arbs, does not want to overstay their welcome there.
Blacklist.
Oh, it will be disengaging, but as I say that, Arbs will be popping out the ultimate, and he will dish out a lot of damage, but it's not enough. Ryota will try to pick up the slack on that Esmeralda, but will still be backing off.
Now this is the game plan here for Blacklist. They're banking on the thought that, you know what, LPE, they have mobile heroes and the side laners can respond fast to fights like that, and that's what they're doing. They're baiting that out. But as they do that, as LPE keeps responding from the side lanes, Oheb and Edward are free to push, and they can't let that Alice push and get that Winter Truncheon ASAP. They can't let Edward's Benedetta, who had an MVP performance yesterday, farm up fast and push the side lanes as well, because Blacklist know how to make the most out of the fact that their side lanes are winning, and that's how they get objectives such as this.
Yeah, and right now, LPE is just trying to find more objectives here because they know for a fact that they are losing the team fights. They don't want to go into the fight just yet. So they're trying to cut the minion waves in the bottom lane to try to push an advantage themselves. And we'll try to catch Edward, who's trying to defend this for himself. We'll try to chip out the damage there from the turret. But Edward, beautiful 1v3 fight there. Half HP onto Aspect and onto Arbs.
Electo final blow, and he knew he had the second skill. an eye for an eye to stop damage from coming in and be able to dash out as well. Great play and understanding of Benedetto there by Edward.
And I like how Blacklist is playing it. Playing the entire game right now. Secure the objectives, just get as much as information, and just to catch LPE off guard. Speaking of which, Blacklist, they are catching BMO off guard time and time and again.
Now I like what Aspect and Ryota did here. Instead of like reacting and trying to protect their own jungle, they need to push out the side lanes and they need to keep getting more turrets here. The opportunity for them to just focus on helping Aspect farm is gone. You have a lot of potential carries into the mid to the late game. You have the Harris and the Esmeralda on your side, so focus on getting the turrets first. LPE need to keep this up, but the question is, has the lead just gone on too far on now to favor Blacklist? Because it's a 6k gold lead for Blacklist, meaning that in team fights, even a 3-man team fight by Blacklist, just their main middle core, it's going to be more than enough to take out members of LPE.
And Oheb just needs to make sure that he times his blood orb properly to just get that much damage down the line. Especially considering the fact that Blacklist International does have a rather bursty composition here compared to how LPE is playing it, with Aspect just trying to dish out consistent damage, manages to make it out alive. Rio.
So close there. Did need to go back, and now LPE are on the defense. Blacklist has just completely surprised LPE with how quickly they played this game. They sacrificed Isan, they sacrificed just barely anyone. It was just Isan who's died the entire match, or the entire game for Blacklist International.
That is true. He's offering his life for the cause, and it's working properly. And because of that, they are able to seize up a lot of turrets. Oheb diving in with the blood or just to zone out LPE from pushing forward. Ryota will try to cut the minion waves to prevent this turret from going down. But as I say that, there is a big fight here over to the bottom lane. Gets it stun onto Wise, but they are backing off. The AusterForce will be laid out by Jake the Dog. Will not dish out a lot of damage, as the time bombs themselves are the ones dishing out a lot of damage. BMO, 1 HP and the Dream manages to make it out.
And Blacklist, they can continue this momentum and keep bullying and pushing back the members of LPE. They have the gold lead to do it this early in the game. We haven't hit 8 minutes yet, and they're already this far up. They can keep this up, but at one point they're gonna have to stop and then go for the Lord of the Rings. With that, because LPE will barely be able to get out of their own side of the river.
Man, unless Blacklist decides to end it here, and I feel like they can get 4 members down. As I say that, the Electro Final Blow will be pushed out here by Edward, and will manage to secure the kill onto BMO.
Ooh, Blacklist, they are going to be continuing this. Good call by them. The next objective won't spawn for another 45 seconds. If they get this inhibitor, it's going to be a big win.
And they might actually get orbs at the same time. Oheb dives in with a blood orb, but will be forced to back off.
And now we saw there how useful a Matilda is in this meta. Just that guiding wind, the shield that she'll be able to provide was more than enough to keep LPE alive. Another fight.
It wasn't the best falling star move that Ryota could have done, that not actually dish out a lot of damage. And this is the problem that LPE had, because they were pouring a lot of the attention onto Eson. They're just unable to farm properly. Even the side lanes weren't able to thrive at all in this entire game.
Yeah, this is a lineup that the lineup of LPE is focused on scaling. They want a longer game. They want to be able to farm up, but then Blacklist, they did not get that opportunity because Isan is absolutely worthless to kill right now. And at the same time, because of just how well Wise, or how free Wise was to farm up, the assist Oh My Venus was racking up, was helping him build up items, running Avarice there with the Popol and Koopa. Oheb as well, the multiple times LPE responded to helping Aspect. Oheb was left alone to farm, push lanes, get gold from the shield turret. All that just built up to the point where we are now. 9 minutes in, a 10k gold lead for Blacklist.
Not a very, it's not always that you would see this lead 9 minutes into the game, but this Lord will fall down. Blacklist will have another advantage pushing over to the mid lane. As I say that, Oheb will go in through a bit of a sticky situation. Their time journey will be pushed out, and they manage to take down Arms at the same time. Will be forced to back off. The Electro Final Blow by Edward will try to push forward. Will try to take down Aspect, manages to make it out alive himself, and Oheb will take down BMO over to the back lines with his ultimate.
What a bait there by Oheb, knowing that these guys don't have enough damage. maybe they'll be able to almost bring me down. That was also a clutch use of the time's journey by Ethan coming in and helping him out.
Ryota diving in again with a falling star move. That's the best falling star move that he could go for. The turret still falls down. We'll just try to delay the inevitable here as Jake the Dog, Ryota, Arms, and Aspect will try to defend this top lane turret.
Because of the lack of the minion wave, they will be able to. They're not going to continue pushing it out, but that's a free Lord here for Wise, and they're just going to wait for this Lord. Won't be surprised if Blacklist will actually be able to end this fight when that Lord finally gets to the base of LPE.
Yeah, it's a mid lane push for the Lord. They can focus their attention elsewhere all across the map. And they will just continue on with the pressure. The top lane is the only turret standing here for LPE, and it's not looking like a good time for LPE at all. And BMO just getting a bunch of the damage from that hat trick.
Yeah, this is not going to end well for LPE.
The glorious pathway, though, it will be pushed back. Oh, beautiful stun there by Oheb. Manages to take down Art. Edward with the electro final blow with the triple kill. A maniac, but a potential savage here on Ryota.
He's not going to give in.
But that is the name of the game here. Blacklist International takes game number 1 in this best of 3.
2 maniacs in a day, and it was as simple as let's completely disrupt them early on. They built up a good side of Blacklist lineup that can end the game really quickly. They'll be able to scale fast here. Their side lanes are so mobile. They're going to be empowered by the fact that with the Rafaela providing them movement speed as well. This could go be another fast game by Blacklist, who, if I'm not mistaken, on average, have the fastest game length rate in the entire league so far.
And we might have another 2-0 if everything goes to plan here for Blacklist International. But as I say that, top lane, it's a Ryota Edward matchup here. Lapu-Lapu versus a Benedetta. So Uranus and Alice over the bottom lane. Meanwhile, over the mid lane, it's the usual creature coverage here for Blacklist International and LPE. Just go ahead and go for the mid lane scuffles to try to get ahead of the curve and get their bucks. And fight for the Little Wanderer as well.
And now everything is just going to be trying, all the efforts of LPE are focused on let's try to make sure Aspect doesn't die and he gets to farm up much better this time. They have the vision provided by the Mountain Chakra to help give them a little bit more of an advantage towards the turtle fight. But then again, this is going to be a problematic matchup for Jake the Dog. They can out-sustain each other, but then in terms of rotating and map presence, Alice has that Uranus.
Yeah, and the only thing that Oheb needs to work around here is to try to get as much.
Of course, the mobility is on the side of Benedetta, and Blacklist is that type of team that, okay, we don't necessarily need to win and brute force this lane, but just clear up the waves and rotate. And with the turtle there, then that Benedetta has the upper hand.
As we say that, Aspect does manage to secure the first blood of the game. And that would slightly give them the edge here, LPE, but it's still not quite clear how LPE would be able to scale well into the mid-game here.
Yeah, much better start, though, this time for Aspect, now able to actually farm up and get a kill that isn't on a Diggy that will eventually become worthless. What LPE also needs to watch out for is Jake the Dog getting caught out here, who is trying to run away. He will be able to get away, but then Blacklist, speaking of Jake the Dog, also have to be careful. If Alice is going to be rotating a lot, then you have to watch out for Jake the Dog potentially out-pushing you in the gold lane.
And the turtle will be started off by LPE here and will be secured by them. That is the first objective, and there was a trend. And I don't know if that trend is still staying, but we'll get back to that thought as Jake the Dog in a scuffle here. It is a 4v1, and he will get taken down here by Blacklist International.
They trade that. Blacklist is one of the better tower juggling teams in the game. And I just said it, so they decided to pressure out Jake the Dog. Now LP have to be careful because it seems like Blacklist, it will work out for them if they continue to bite out Jake the Dog.
As BMO spots out Oh My Venus and Gang, they will be forced back, gets the mobilization themselves, gets a stun onto Arbs, will be backing off. Wise really ahead here. Oheb will flicker and pop the ult. Wise will be wrapping it up.
Good call there by Arbs, deciding not to stick around and try to turn it around for them. They don't have the damage or the items at this point to actually turn that fight around. So at least they weren't able to give another kill to Blacklist. But this is what's good about the lineup of LPE. Despite me saying that I'm favoring Blacklist a little bit more here, they have a the closest thing we have to traditional frontlining tank, even though Sylvana isn't necessarily that, because he can do stuff like this and annoy Oh My Venus and SR.
Oh My Venus will be really annoyed by that kill because he should not have been caught off in that entire fight, and now we are seeing a little bit of an adjustment here for LPE. Not an adjustment, but a rotation towards the bottom lane as they try to take down Ohem.
Yeah, it's gonna be really hard for them. They don't have the damage with that kind of rotation. Maybe that Lunox will hurt them possibly, but that is an Alice, still hard to catch. Speaking of catch, Bimo is on fire.
We'll catch out Esson as well as Wise will be forced to flicker out. That's 2 minutes without the flicker for Esson. And Jake the Dog will be diving in. Should not have done that. Bit off more than he could chew and still manages to survive, but I believe that he shouldn't have done that in the first place.
Yeah, and now, see, Ryota's just been stuck in lane trying to push that out here. Vendat is gonna be going back here. And Blacklist has to respect that. I mentioned it earlier, Bimo, his positioning, if they get surprised with Medic Lance and Divine Justice, could be really bad.
And this could be really bad for Jake the Dog because that is a 3-man gang squad off for Jake the Dog, and he'll get taken down. I thought for a fact that Blacklist would be going for a huge team fight, but that is a second turtle being secured by LPE, and I think they are going to try to turn things around here. Here comes the Mountain Shocker to just get a lot of damage in the game, and Ryota manages to take down Eston. Wise low on HP, gets the immobilization onto Ryota, and he's no longer part of the equation. Oheb will actually try to go for the backlines, but he is unsuccessful. Bimo, beautiful catch onto him. And that is a 3-for-1 trade with the turtle going to the side of LPE.
Fantastic positioning there by LPE, and they know that they were going to sacrifice Jake the Dog, but Jake the Dog actually made it hard for Blacklist to get him down sooner. He bought enough time for LPE to take that turtle, bought enough time for LPE, specifically Bimo on that shrub closer to the crab on the bottom side. That's how Blacklist was surprised, because that's where Oh My Venus and S1 were.
And now, Oh My Venus, currently standing at 0-1 and 3 on this Popol and Koopa, just trying to go for and look for a good rotate here. But as I say, that did get a bite off of Arbs, almost takes him out, as well as Bimo. Bimo's low on HP, the turret will go down. Aspect will be paying the price for taking that turret with him.
Good lane switch here now by Blacklist, sending Ryota to the bottom lane. I don't think he'll be able to break that tower just yet, but forcing that rotate means that the Alice is going to be farther away from the next objective, and Jake the Dog, little by little, is going to start to be a problem for Blacklist and his split pushes because of how much Blacklist are putting their side laners towards the middle and towards the jungle.
I'll just go back to the point that I was trying to say earlier on, where there was a trend where the first team that secures both objectives for
to the fight a little bit more. And if that happens, LPE lose their slight advantage that they have in managing the side lane minion waves.
Speaking of the side lane, Ryota will still stay in the side lane. Meanwhile, Jake the Dog will just continuously dish out the damage. They did swap out lanes here for Blacklist International and LPE, and really, Oheb is not having a good time against Jake the Dog.
Yeah, and because Blacklist International is also lacking the burst magic damage. Yes, Alice has great magic damage, but that's as the fight goes on. The Blood Awe will do damage, but it's not like, let's say, if you had a Kagura on your end or a Farsa on your end, just like true burst with just one flick of the skill. The closest thing they have to burst is Brody when he brings out Torn Apart Memory. A lot of their damage is like as the fight goes on, it happens little by little. It snowballs slowly. LPE, they have the Lunox because they have the Mountain Shocker, and the kits of their heroes can deal the burst.
That's true. And Blacklist International's lineup, just like what you said, is not bursty. They're the front line to back line type of team. And speaking of front line to back line here, Edward trying to disrupt the back line. When unsuccessful, they will keep this turret for now. LPE is looking to secure more objectives for themselves.
Yeah, no turret right now broken yet by Blacklist. That's already 2 down, favoring LPE. And this just is mainly because of how Blacklist played for more of a jungle-focused rotation. They were trying to pick off LPE, was working out a bit. But then Bimo coming up with the Sylvana, great positioning of the Sylvana, stopped that from being such a big problem for them and sort of balanced it out, the efforts of Blacklist in the jungle.
Meanwhile, the top lane, there was a heavy presence over to the bottom lane from the side of LPE. Now, Blacklist will oblige them for pressuring Jake the Dog here. Still managed to survive, albeit barely. and he will fall down as well as the turret going down.
They have to make the most out of this trio, the Rafaela, the Alice, and then the Brody as well. Keep the shot from Jake the Dog like that. Don't always make that your usual play, but you have a strong trio in that 3. Pull LPE into another part of the map, split push somewhere else, get a kill somewhere else, get a pick off with those 3, and then push through there. That's going to be a good recipe for Blacklist to regain control of this game and finally get better pushes towards LPE's side.
They're really doing a good job controlling their jungle for that matter, despite the fact that all their turrets are down. LPE's unsuccessful with really securing jungle caps on the side of Blacklist International.
Yeah, and that's because of the lineup of Blacklist. The sustain is really strong, and as the fight goes on, Blacklist likes that. And in the tight spot in the jungle, when you're up against an Alice and a Popo Kuba, it's gonna be bad for LPE.
And it's gonna be bad for Jake the Dog. Every single skill will be thrown at him, and it will be taken down without a shadow of a doubt. But that is a trade for the turtle. But this is 2 turrets being traded out. It is. I thought it was going to be a base race there for a minute, but Blacklist International will be backing off. And
exactly, I mentioned this has to be the game plan here for Blacklist. They spotted it out, like Jake the Dog's the weak link here, I mean, with his strategy. So if they keep doing that, then that's going to be a good way for them to test LPE.
Winter truncheon here from OHEB to really survive that fight, and they might just take Arvs. Yeah, they will be able to take down Arvs here. Medward on the backlines will try to chase down BMO and Aspect, but will be unsuccessful on that. That push will be punished by Blacklist.
So now the question for LPE is, are you going to keep going for this approach or try something different? Well, they can keep Jake the Dog pushing just a little bit, but no more really deep pushes into lane. Just manage the lane and then get out. And then join in the fights. Because the inherent tankiness of the Uranus will buy enough time for Aspect and Arvs to deal damage to join in the fights for objectives or for skirmishes in the jungle. They're going to need him there.
Take note though, 55 seconds before the Lord spawns, which is a crucial objective for LPE to secure in order to equalize the lane here. Well, the turret pushes, I mean. And already they're positioning themselves on over there. LPE, Blacklist International will try to shove out the lanes over at the bottom side so they have the lane priority. But they're having a hard time because, again, time and again, it's Jake the Dog proving to be a problem here. And they're giving out Edward to just secure the top lane to prevent Jake the Dog from even deciding to push out forward.
Yeah, this might be a sacrifice, so great dive!
Great dive indeed. Esson already down and out for the count. Popol and Koopa. Oh My Venus not really as impactful in that fight, and LPE will be able to take down this turret and will have good Lord priority here as they try to go for additional kills here. OHEB will be spotted out in this run, but the damage output from OHEB is just way too much. Forces himself to flicker out of the fight. Edward in the back lines will try to go for LPE here. Electro-Findable not really catching a lot of people, but at the same time, Wise will be popping the ultimate in order to skin a double kill there, and that is LPE paying the price in that entire fight. And now it's just Jake the Dog on his own in a 1v3. Will try to punish LPE as much as possible here. We'll find out Oh My Venus, but I don't think it is the wisest choice that he can go for.
Great turnaround there by Blacklist. Even though they lost Esson, they lost their main healer, their main support. They still have the Popol and Koopa, who I think Oh My Venus also built a bit of damage there as well as we look into the replay. This looked really good for LPE. Bimo great pickoffs as well, but then Wise was just not there. LPE already blew out so much to take down the Rafaela and to take down OHEB's Alice. By the time Wise got there, he just needed to plant the marks, bring out the torn apart memory. Edward was there as well, even though he couldn't land the Electro final blows as much. Eventually, with the Phantom Slashes, he was able to deal the damage out to LPE.
And that instant replay is brought to you by Oppo A94. Experience gaming at full speed with Oppo A94. Get yours now for only 13,999 pesos. And that was a full speed clash over the bottom lane.
And this could be a full speed run into the inhibitor turrets of LPE if they're not careful, because Blacklist, look at them, they are going in with intent. They want to end this quick.
They do. Edward gets spotted out by BMO, forcing LPE to back off into this inhibitor turret to try to defend it as much as they can. But as I say that, the Lord will chip out half HP on that turret. BMO and Ryota and Arvs, I mean, already low on HP. Electro Final Blow will not be catching anybody at all in that fight. Koopa will fall down, but Oh My Venus is still up. They will manage to take down the inhibitor turret. They will be forcing their attention over to the mid lane turret to just get that dominant map presence in this fight.
Oh man, long team fight, lots to sustain. Even the burst that LPE can bring out still really hard to take down the lineup of Blacklist, who has a lot of feeling, who has a lot of sustain, and they can continue this until they break down all the inhibitors.
Yeah, it's only one inhibitor turret left
Oh,
alive here.
man.
BMO forced to flicker out. He does not have much of a choice here as Wise pops this ult, and now it's only a matter of time before Blacklist International secures another 2-0 sweep here. They are doing what they can, LPE, but it's just not enough. Now it's just Ryota and Jake the Dog left alive here. Make that just Jake the Dog, and this game is pretty much over. Forces out the Winter Crusher, but we'll be buying a lot of time here, but it's not enough. That's the game, set and done. Blacklist International, another 2-0 sweep for themselves.
As expected, but it wasn't as one-sided as game number 1 or as we thought it would be. LPE played to the strengths of their lineup. I really have to commend Jake the Dog here, who, despite not having a great record, split push really well.
In this moment, winning moment is brought to you by Head & Shoulders. Put your game face on and finally say goodbye to those awkward hashtag It's a GG moments. Thanks to Head & Shoulders, 100% dander-free and itch-free. Now, mas mabango pa. Did we really expect Blacklist to not go 2-0 in this game?
Well, after the end of the draft, we were favoring the lineup of Blacklist because of just how well it